Hey guys, welcome to a segment of the Grind Never Stops podcast. This is your host DJ Joe, and before we begin this episode, make sure you can cop our merchandise. Grind Never Stops. You can check the link for that site in the description. We're also on Facebook Shop and IG. You can also order, and I'll be glad to give you a discount if you send me a DM, and I'll be glad to send it out as soon as possible. But right now we have these shirts for $35, and if you're interested, you can cop one and support the brand. And this is what this podcast is all about. It's not just talking about sports, it's about grind never stops. And I'm trying to bring as much people as an interview on the show just to make their story on the internet, because people don't understand what grind never stops is you have to understand the grind and bet on yourself, because this day and age, your family, your friends will not support you. These people will only support you if they need something. Like if they will message you or they will talk to you if when they need something, but they won't talk to you to support you, to see how you're doing. In fact, you'll be a laughing stock. And that's what grind never stops is. Fulfill your dreams. Follow your dreams. That's what grind never stops. It's not the people that's around you that's gonna support you the most. And that's funny. That's funny. It's the people, the strangers, the true friends, the true family members that will support you, but not will make fun of you, that will laugh at you, that criticize you. They will support you, because that's what it is. It's the grind never stops, and it's the man above that's going to support you from A to Z, from the day you're born to the day you die. This is what this podcast is all about. And this podcast is not just debating on who scored 60 or who won, who lost. It's about bringing the people that want to fulfill their dreams together. I brought Eugene Campbell 2 episodes ago. We are bringing another athlete from Europe as well to talk about his story, because people just don't understand the grind. Because there's not a lot of people that will support you, support them. In fact, they'll laugh at you. They will even try to say, let me come on your podcast. Let me hear your story. And that's what I'm all about. It's about following your dreams. And here we don't stop. This is why the grind never stops. When I started this podcast, I want to bring athletes together, family members, friends, all that want to tell their story, even if it's not sports related. And obviously, having sports related stories would be nice, but any story that you have, you can bring it and we can talk about it, because I want your story to be heard. Because it's all about betting on yourself. It's all about understanding and showing people the grind. And here, the grind will never stop. You win the title, that never stops. The grind will stop when you hang it up, when you can't do it anymore. But now, that's what LeBrons, the Kobe's, the MJ's, the Gretzky's, the Brady's, the Barry Bonds, the grind never stopped. And maybe Barry Bonds stopped, but all these players are Hall of Famers, one of the greatest players to play in their sport, but the grind never stops. This is what about. The motivation is you won't take those people that laugh at you as motivation. You might, but the people that you will take motivation from is from your true friends, your true family members. And this is what this is about. But let's start with this episode of the Grind Never Stops podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share as all of our videos on YouTube, and you can check us out on Spotify. And the first topic that we're going to talk about today is Russell Westbrook. And yes, he's been playing like trash, and he knows it too. And yes, he hasn't been doing what he was expected to do. But the thing is that people don't understand Russ is that that's how Russell Westbrook plays. Russell Westbrook plays on ball, and he is not a factor playing off the ball. And maybe the last couple games, and some games here, some games there. But when LeBron did not play at Charlotte, what did the man do? He went off. And yeah, they lost here and there, but the guy went off. And that's what people don't understand, that Russell Westbrook is and has always been a future Hall of Famer when he's on the ball. So the Lakers knew that. Everyone should knew that. And I know he's been having a bad season, but does not make you the right to call these names, especially when the man says he doesn't like that and you keep doing it, and that is so disrespectful to say and laugh a man's family name. And yes, I might have been calling Westbrook, but that's just once or twice. But when the man tells you that he does not like that, and on top of that, he doesn't even bring his family to the game. That's another thing where all that name calling is just gotta stop. And the funny thing is, it's not just coming from NBA fans. It's coming from the Laker fans themselves. And that won't make things better. It's not going to make things better for that team who just lost last night, who had an abysmal trash fourth quarter. Lost to the Wizards. Porzingis had big shots down the stretch. But the Lakers, it's just one game goes off, and then the next 5, they don't know what they're doing. But the Lakers will figure it out. And everyone keeps saying how Lakers are bad. They're still in the play-in. They're still in the play-in, and trust me, they're going to play one of the easiest teams in the play-in, which will probably be the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Clippers, or the New Orleans Pelicans as of right now. And if the Lakers play the Memphis Grizzlies or the Warriors, that will be a good matchup, because by that time, Kendrick Nunn will be back. By that time, Anthony Davis will suit up. So it's not over just yet. And as a reporter asked him, what happened with your expectation? Is the season over? So the season is not over. So there's a lot of time for the Lakers to let it fly and to go off. Because look what LeBron has been doing these weeks. Scoring 50 twice, 40, had another 30-point game, had back-to-back 33, 9 rebounds performances. And the Lakers had a huge win in Toronto. And I feel that this was Russell Westbrook's time to pop out, because he was on a bad streak, averaging 16 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, on 9% from 3. These past games, it was horrible. But this game was a chance to snap a streak of Toronto, who we're going to talk about in just a moment. And it was in Toronto, Drake night, Friday night, and it was just time for Russell Westbrook to just get out of the sleep that he's been. And he had a magnificent game with a triple-double, a clutch steal on Scotty Barnes, and then had the game-tying 3. And then the sky was the limit in overtime for the Lakers as they pulled up a huge upset and win at the Scotiabank Place. it was time to begin up a streak. But it's just the fourth quarter last night was the same old Lakers, as they couldn't stop Kristaps Porzingis, as he had a huge night, and also LeBron had a great night, but he had a quiet fourth quarter for the Lakers. And this is what's missing, because I still feel that they should play mellow start. I think they will eventually have once AD back, have AD, Mello, Russ, LeBron, and like Malik Monk or Avery Bradley, because that's how they should be doing things, and that's how it's gonna happen. Soon enough, they're gonna say, "Okay, we gotta bring Mello back to this." Because it's funny how Melo is 37, is probably one of their best shooters. And I'm talking about off the bench. They just need Melo to start and to do what he's been always doing and have. And I know you're stuck with Russell Westbrook, but people I don't think that it's called stuck. He's a great player. He has 23K points. He averaged a triple double in 4 different seasons. Like, Russell Westbrook will be Russell Westbrook. He's gonna bring that athleticism that he's always had, that dunking ability, and maybe his 3-point shooting needs to be worked on. But baby, it's all about playoffs. Is a different animal. LeBron knows, as he goes dark on social media, AD will pull up his pants off and go off. He's gonna put his work pants on and go off. And I know last season AD should have not went out, but I think they shouldn't play AD until the last days of the season if they won't make. But if they already seal the play-in, then I think they should rest them for the play-in. Because if they play Grizz in the play-in, they might have a hard time without. But I think with AD, he can help on the defensive side and be good, because if the Lakers start Dwight Howard to pull up with Steven Adams, AD will have no problem attacking the paint. But we need to see what's going to happen for the Lakers, because they need to go off in the last 12 games for them to clinch a playoff spot. But anything can happen. But as of right now, the way they're playing, they should seal the clutch, but they should rest AD until he needs to play. I know right now he needs to play, but it's not over yet. So I think everyone needs to calm down right now, because all the hate on Russell Westbrook, AD, LeBron, it's getting out of hand, and he needs to stop. It's gotta stop. You know what LeBron is doing every game, day and out, injured or not injured, he plays. Russell Westbrook might playing bad, but you can't criticize this guy's last name. Just leave it alone. He will pick it up. He will figure it out. It's not a big problem. But for the Lakers, they just gotta play much better. It's not just gonna be about LeBron James. It's gotta be the whole lineup. And I think with Kendrick Nunn coming back, it will be a great add to this mediocre team that the Lakers have. Because without LeBron James, Carmelo, AD, and Russ, this team is trash. But now let's move on and talk about the Raptors. So the Raptors are playing red hot. They just had their 5-game winning streak. They play tonight against the Sixers, and they will be expected to be without OG Anunoby, without Malachi Flynn, and without Fred VanVleet. So the Raptors will need. Well, they did that before. They switched. They took turns of having Scotty Barnes and Pascal Siakam running the point, and it shouldn't be a problem against the Sixers, but it will be a good game to watch. The Raptors against the Philadelphia Sixers, which is probably a playoff preview. but it's not like secured. Like the Raptors did not secure a playoff spot yet. They can go tied with the Cavs with a win today. Um, no, there'll be a game and a half, no, a full game back behind the Cavs. So they need to play this game at a high level because James Harden, yeah, he's struggling against the Nets, but James Harden, he can have 15 assists uh, in a heartbeat. He can go off in a heartbeat. I know he hasn't went off, but he can go off at any moment. These are professional players. They're just not gonna struggle. And yeah, maybe Harden will struggle tonight, but because he'll be guarded for sure by Scotty Barnes. But for the Raptors tonight is on the center position because Embiid is he's gonna ball tonight. But you know how Embiid sometimes he falls in love with the jumper and doesn't go inside. As you remember, uh, Embiid scored less than 10 points against a game against the Raptors a couple of years ago when Kawhi was on the team, and in fact Kawhi wasn't even on the court during that game. So for the Sixers as well, they need to pull up some wins to make some space in the playoffs and secure home court for the whole NBA playoffs as they're chasing the Miami Heat and Chicago Bulls is right behind them. But for the Sixers and Raptors, this game is like a great game because both teams just coming off. Well, Raptors are not coming off like a big streak, but they won 5 the last 6. But for the Sixers, they're coming off a couple games ago. They got blown out by Brooklyn, and then they lost to the Denver Nuggets. So for the Sixers, this game is time to beat a great team in the Raptors, and the game is in Philadelphia, so which should give them a bit of more advantage. But for the Raptors, they didn't play us. And Scotty Barnes went off his 30-point first 30-point game, and he's the first rookie since Blake Griffin to have 30 plus points, 15 plus rebounds, and 5 plus assists. And he went off for 35, 15, and 6. It was a great assignment for Barnes. It was a huge assignment. He was guarding mostly LeBron and Russell Westbrook. So Barnes is the real deal. And so, I think Pascal Siakam, Spicy P, is underappreciated. And he needs to be appreciated because he's been laughed at, criticized. And now he's going off this season. He's averaging close to 22 points, 11 rebounds, and 5.8 assists. But Fred VanVleet will not play tonight as he's soaring. He's like resting for a knee injury, but he should come back hopefully on Monday against the Bulls because Freddie VanVleet will not play back-to-back because of his knee. He's not 100%, so that's why they're careful with him as he'll be playing in Chicago on Monday to face DeMar DeRozan and the Bulls. But the Raptors are having a great season as they're 39 wins and 31 losses. That's 8 games above 500. And if they win tonight, it will be their 40th win of the season. And it's funny how you lose Kawhi, you lose Serge, you lose Marc Gasol, you lose Powell, you lose Kawhi Leonard, and you will still have 40 wins. This team is resilient. This is why Toronto Raptors, even though they lose a great player and lose many great Hall of Famers, they still they're still gonna have 40 wins on the season. And last year, the COVID hit, the bubble, playing in temp, it was all like BS, so it wasn't as good. But Raptors are playing much better, and the hate on the lone Canadian team, that's gotta stop. And we'll talk about the Leafs in just a moment, but this team is the real deal. And the Raptors will not choke, but they will play at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You can watch it on Sportsnet, and if in your USA, you can watch on FSN Philadelphia or Fox Sports, or on your NBA League subscription package. But things are going great for the Raptors, and expect them to go off. And for people who ask me what did I think about that Patrick Beverley and Cat making fun of Russell Westbrook, I should tell you that the Wolves have made the playoffs once in Cat Anthony Towns' career. Patrick Beverley has not made an impact in the NBA. He has not reached the finals, and for him to make fun and talk trash to Russell and LeBron, you gotta have at least something to back that up. Beverly has nothing to back it up. And don't tell me he's a great defender. He's trash. And Karl Anthony Towns has made the playoffs once in his whole career. What? He's been to the Timberwolves 7 years, and how many times he made the playoffs? Once. And the only time he made it, he won one game. And I know Cat has been going off this season, and the Wolves are a much better team, and the Lakers are a much better team this season. But you just gotta have a resume to be able to do like that. And I understand if it was Kawhi, Kyrie, even KD. KD is an NBA champion. He's a two-time NBA champion, so he's got the right. But for Cat, that little thing that Cat and Beverly did, that was not smart, because at the end of the day, the team that will be better is the Lakers. The team that people love watching is the Lakers, not the Minnesota Timberwolves. And I know this season they've been fun to watch. Even I've been tuned in a couple of their games, as Ant-Man has been playing great. Beverly has played all right. Cat has been going off. And D'Angelo Russell, the quarterback for that team, has been playing decent as well. So this team is fun to watch now, but doesn't give them the right to do that to Russ. And Russ has been having a bad season, not just on the court, but off the court as well. So that's about it. Other games, the Pacers beat the Portland Trailblazers 129-98. The Grizz blow out Houston by 24. Other key games, the Jazz will play the Knicks. The Celtics will play in Denver. And as I said, the Raps will play Philly. And later on today, the Spurs will play the Golden State Warriors. And there is a couple games going on, but not that important. But that's about it for NBA. And again, if you want me to talk to you about any topic, you can send me a message and we'll be glad to talk about it. So right now, let's go to the NHL. And before I talk about the Leafs, I just want to congratulate Alexander Ovechkin. The old man with gray hair just scored his 40th goal of the season. And they're a contending team, but at times the Capitals, more like the Crapitals, have been, at times they haven't been that great. But you know how Caps play in the playoffs, so expect them to go off. And also I want to congratulate Claude Giroux for playing in his 1,000th game. And yes, they got rid of him, but Claude Giroux has been nothing but great for the franchise, not only for Philly, but for the because he's from Canada, so he's been done for the community of Philadelphia as well as Canada. And as long as it's a Canadian player getting traded, you always want to see where he's going, because he's close to the end of his career, and he got traded to Florida, which Florida has been playing amazing hockey this season. But anything can happen in the playoffs, because Sharks, Stars, Avs always had great regular seasons, and Hurricanes, they all been having the last couple of seasons. They all been having great regular season, but once playoff starts, they have nowhere to go. As Claude Giroux got sent to Florida, and you knew it was going to happen, but I feel Florida have too many guys up front, and I don't know how that's going to work out, but we'll see about that. But the Leafs, they've been playing, and this is gonna be hard, but they've been playing like garbage. And I hate saying that, but they've been playing like trash. And yeah, Marner's been popping off. Matthews playing out of his mind as he scored his 46th goal the other day. But it just, they're playing so bad. Like, they lost to the Predators last night 5-3, but 6-3. But, like, other than that, the team's been garbage. He's out for another couple weeks. Mrazek was put on waivers for being so garbage. That that goaltender was so garbage. And I thought him going from Carolina to Toronto and switching Anderson, maybe he would do something, but his goals against average was the third worst in the league. His save percentage was bottom 10. Like he was trash, and you knew he had to come. And I thought maybe they were gonna trade him, use him as trade bait, but unfortunately they did not. And they put him on waivers, and they also signed a goalie to back that up. But also the backup goalie that's been playing red hot before their loss, he's been going off as he had a shutout against the Dallas Stars and played great hockey. But it's not here what we're talking about. And I know he's going to be a great backup because now the Leafs have finally made a good trade. And I know this guy is probably the end of his career, but Martin Giordano is a great defenseman. He was a great defenseman in Calgary and didn't do much in Seattle, but this trade was a beautiful trade. And now also are they getting Mark Giordano? They're also getting forward Colin Blackwell as well. And for that, Seattle will receive a 2022 second round pick, 2023 second round pick, and a 24 third round pick. But this trade was amazing. And this is going to help the Leafs not only on the power play, but defensive wise. He's a big body. And this is a big trade. And we knew this was going to happen. And it finally happened. And they finally have. And this is not the defensive. This is not a Norris nominee. But this is a big body that can get things done. And Mark Giordano going to Toronto is a wonderful trade, and they didn't even give up that much. And I know that the Leafs trade for him, but the Leafs also gave up Travis Dermott as he got sent to Vancouver, and they received back a third round draft choice. And Travis Dermott had been trash. He's been garbage, like ever since he came to Toronto. And now this is a good thing because Giordano has used to play with TJ Brody in Calgary, so he will be able to play alongside TJ Brody. So it's been a great trade as well. And also Blackwell is also a great player as well. He's had 17 points in 39 games with the Kraken, but he's like a defensive bottom six forward. They could use him like, down the stretch. But this is a good trade for the Leafs, and we need to see how he's gonna do. Uh, how he's gonna do with the Leafs. And the Leafs are like, yeah, they won the last 2-3 games, but like yesterday was back to the same old Leafs, which the Leafs need to step it up because it's at the end of the season now. So we'll see how the Leafs will do, but that's what we have for the Leafs. But it was a good trade, according to me and according to a lot of fans. We're all happy to see that. But guys, this is about it. Thanks for tuning into a segment of the Grind Never Stops podcast. This is your host, DJ Joe, and don't forget to cop your merch of the Grind Never Stops. The link is in the description. If you want to send a small donation, you can. The link is below as well. And make sure to share, like, and subscribe if you haven't just yet. But thanks for tuning in. And just keep grinding, everybody. Grind never stops. This is your host, DJ Joe, signing out. Mamba out.